Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Yanez, Director of the Senior Adult Program, and of course, we have a fantastic show planned for you today. This is Mature Living. And so what we want to do this morning is to start off with some senior issues. I mean, serious concerns and maybe some good information that all of us need to know when we have questions about how things go, how to get things done, and how to help our elders. And so with us is Stephanie Townsend Ayala. She's an elder law attorney here in town, and so I want you to meet her.
Thank you
for being
so
with us.
much. Yes, and I'm so happy to represent the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. I sit on their board of directors for Texas, as well as I am the editor of the Texas newsletter for the National Academy. And I'm so happy to be here to talk with you
Thank
today.
you. Very good. We've got a couple of questions and some topics we want to touch on. And right off the bat, I'd like to ask you about the Medicaid program. Tell me a little bit of what we need to know.
Okay, so anyone who is elderly or who loves somebody who's elderly or might have a disability needs to understand that Medicaid for the elderly and disabled is not a welfare program. It's a middle class, working class program. And so a lot of people who need Medicaid at the end of their lives here in El Paso are going and needing to get that because Medicaid will cover home health care. It will cover your nursing home costs. And so when people go to apply for that in Texas, the state of Texas makes them sign a form that says, hey, we'll give you Medicaid, but we're going to steal your house after you die.
And that's called the
Medicaid Estate Recovery Program.
Yes, and so it's kind of related, but
yes, and I have to say that that program is causing misery across the state because a lot of people are afraid of losing their homes, and so rather than getting Medicaid, they go home and live in filth and misery and squalor their final days, and that's not what we want for our greatest generation. And so what we want to do is let people know none of my clients have ever lost their homes to the Medicaid Estate Recovery Program, and you don't have to lose your home either. There's simple ways. It's totally avoidable.
Okay.
Totally avoidable. And I have to get this word out. It's urgent that we let people know that you don't have to lose your home if you're getting home health care or nursing home Medicaid, because the other problem it's causing is we are seeing an increase in suicides among the elderly and people with disabilities. It's frightening. Yes. And I've had 3 people in my office say they considered suicide because of the Medicaid Estate Recovery Program. I had one son come in whose dad tried to commit suicide. He didn't know how to get the care, and he thought if he killed himself, then at least his wife would get the insurance money. So we have to, it's urgent that we get the word out. The Medicaid Estate Recovery Program is abundantly and totally avoidable. Okay. And if you go to a lawyer who doesn't tell you that, then keep looking for the right attorney.
Super. There's also an issue about the 100 days after you get out of the hospital, where you get rehab. Tell me about that.
Yes, thank you for asking. The Jimmo is Jimmo v. Sibilis. Now, Jimmo was a man who sued the Health and Human Services Secretary under Obama because while the statute says if you spend 3 midnights in a hospital and you're on Medicare, you get to have up to 100 days of therapy in a facility after that hospitalization. Now, those 100 days for someone who's broken a hip, had a stroke, those 100 days are vital just to get them back to maybe even talking or swallowing again. And so when you're kicking everybody out at 20 days, which is what the insurance companies are forcing nursing homes to do, they're kicking people out at 20 days. I call it the 21-day miracle. They say you need 100% 24-hour care for 20 days, and on the 21st day you have to leave. So you don't have to, is what I'm saying, is you can argue and you can say, no, my daddy needs 100 days and he's not leaving this facility. And you can call the state. There's a number you can call to ask them to come and do an assessment to see if your dad could, or mom could really get those 100 days. So I want to encourage people, when somebody says it's not possible, please go double check. Yes. Because sometimes it's not possible in their little realm of understanding, but it is possible under the law. And as an attorney, that's my goal, is to let people know you don't have to lose your home under the Medicaid Estate Recovery Program, and you can stay up to 100 days if you need it in a skilled nursing facility. Right, so how prepared do you think a family is at home if they have a loved one who had a stroke, who's coming home, who can't get out of bed anymore, and they have 20 days to get the medical equipment at home and in place? not very well prepared. So if you give them 100 days, they're
it
going to
gives
be
them time.
much better prepared to take home your loved one and keep them home and not have continuous readmissions.
You know, another issue that I want to bring up, and I know we're just touching a little bit on each of these conversation topics, but how important are the powers of attorney?
Vitally important. If you do not have a power of attorney right now, I want you to take some steps immediately to get one and make sure it's done properly. Just downloading something off the internet often doesn't work.
Yes.
Make sure that you go get a power of attorney. Now, why is this important? Because if you're in an accident tomorrow and get a closed head injury and no one has legal authority over you, you're in the hospital, let's say, your family is then forced to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to go get a guardianship. What's a guardianship? That's where the state and the government and a court gets involved in your life. You get at least 2 lawyers are involved, a court investigator, you have a judge, you have all these people and you have to do criminal background checks. It's extremely invasive and it's expensive, and it's totally another thing. It's totally avoidable if you plan ahead and get powers of attorneys. When should you get a power of attorney? The day you turn 18. And if you're 18 or over and you don't have one, then you have not prepared for the business of your life. You may be going to work every day and having a job or a business, but the business of your life is neglected if you do not have those documents.
Yes, so important, and at any age, especially because there's accidents that happen, you know, to young people as well as to mature adults.
And in fact, what I've started doing is I offer a half-price package for all teenagers. If you've just turned 18 and you're going off to college, you need powers of attorney.
Yes.
You need to make sure that if you have a medical incident, and you know our kids in college are subject to those incidents sometimes, that your parents can talk to the hospital, can talk to the school, can talk to whomever they need to help you.
Very, very good. I guess, you know, there's other topics like avoiding a probate, you know, complicated process as well. But I wanted this time for you to give your phone number, because I know we've sparked up some questions and maybe some serious thought about what we should be doing as families when we discuss with our parents, when we discuss with our children about important documents.
Yes, thank you so much, Mary. It is so important. And you can always reach me at Stephanie at ElPasoElderLaw.com. That's my email. Or you can call 915-533-0007, and I'll be happy to hear from you by email or by phone. I just really want to get the word out. In fact, I offer to speak to groups to let them know, so that we can let our seniors know you can get the help you need, you can keep your home, and you don't have to resort to terrible, tragic means in order to achieve your goals.
Very good. Well, thank you, Stephanie. I really appreciate you taking time from your office and all the busyness that we get into with your organization. And thank you for representing El Paso in that wonderful organization, that Texas organization. Okay, we'll be back with more guests, and we've been talking with Stephanie Townsend Ayala, an elder law attorney here in El Paso. Well, thank you for staying with us. We have many, many questions. I always have questions, by the way, for Ray Vigil, who is the representative from the Social Security Administration. He's the public affairs specialist. You'll see him all over in different places, and his staff, co-workers that are there helping us to understand Social Security. You know, make sure that we sign up for Social Security, Medicare, and all those important things that seniors need. So let's find out what Ray has for us today. Thank you for being with us, Ray.
Well, thank you, Mary, for inviting us.
I know you're busy. You always have to take care of all of us that call you individually or that we meet you at health fairs and different places.
There's always a lot of questions about Social Security, whether it be Social Security retirement, disability, and Medicare. But first and foremost, of course, the most important thing that we have in mind is to actually get as many people registered on their My Social Security account, which is a personal account that they can set up on the Social Security website, socialsecurity.gov. Even if you're not receiving Social Security benefits, if you remember those statements that you used to get on your birthday with all the projections.
Yes.
If you're under 60 years of age, the only way that you can access all your personal history with lifetime earnings and projections about your Social Security is if you set up your My Social Security account. If you're over 60 years of age, of course, we still suggest that you set up an account to protect your Social Security number from identity theft, okay?
And you can get a lot of services once you sign up.
Once you sign up, especially when you're Social Security, already receiving Social Security or Medicare, if you need to do a change of address, direct deposit, or telephone number, or you need to replace your Social Security card, your Medicare card, or at the end of the year you need to do your tax return and you can't find or didn't receive the 1099, you
Yes.
can get those instantly on the Social Security website.
Perfect.
okay?
And how's El Paso doing?
El Paso's doing a lot better.
Good.
More and more, when I go and do retirement seminars, first and foremost, the first thing that I ask them is if they already set up their personal user account on our website, My Social Security account. And surprisingly enough, a higher percentage of the individuals are actually now registered and using their My Social Security account.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot better.
Ooh, I'm so glad because we do want to help our elders and make sure they get the services that they need. Medicare costs, what do you have for us?
For Medicare itself, okay, Medicare is a complicated program all by itself, okay, it's a 4-part program. But today we're practically going to highlight the Part A and the Part B, the hospital and the doctors, and a little bit on the prescription because we are approaching the general enrollment period, which starts October the 15th and ends on December the 7th. But first, the hospitalization, it's premium free. You don't pay a premium if you qualify for Social Security benefits on your own record or your spouse's record. In other words, you worked more than 10 years. But a lot of people don't realize that even though they don't qualify for Social Security, they can still buy the program. If they have anywhere from 7.5 years to 10 years, they can buy hospitalization coverage for $240. If they have less than 7.5 years, they can buy the hospitalization coverage for $437 a month, okay? It sounds kind of expensive, but if you look at the actual cost of being hospitalized, that's going to be a very positive advantage as far as having coverage where Medicare will actually help you out, okay?
Very good. And what's the next part of that?
And of course, Part B Medicare, which is a medical part of Medicare, that one does have a monthly premium of $135.50. That, if you're receiving Social Security benefits, is going to be deducted from your Social Security. If you are one of those individuals that elected not to take the Social Security benefits, but you want Medicare, then you will be billed by Medicare on a quarterly basis, okay? There is a calendar year deductible of $185 before Medicare actually comes into the picture. Now, when I talk about $135.50, that's just the standard premium for everyone. There is an IRS rule that if you have other income, okay, and your filing status is that of an individual and your other income is over $85,000 or more per year, or you're a couple and your other taxable income is over $170,000 per year, you will be paying higher premiums than $135.50, okay?
Wow,
So-
there's so much to talk about. Prescription.
The Part D part of Medicare, which is a prescription part. This is the enrollment period that we are approaching on October the 15th. And as I said, it will expire on December the 7th. So if you're already on a prescription plan, your plan will tell you and should have already told you whether there's going to be any changes to your plan effective 2020.
Okay.
But Medicare does suggest that even though you already have a prescription program, go ahead and review the new plans for the upcoming year 2020. You might find that you're going to pay lesser premiums and you're going to get more coverage for the premium that you're going to pay.
Okay.
If you're on the original Medicare, now is the time that you can actually switch over to the Medicare Advantage plan. If you're under the Advantage, you can switch over to the original Medicare. Or if you're on the Advantage and you want to switch to another Advantage, now is the time to actually do it.
Very good.
Keeping in mind, though, that the changes do not take into place or go into effect until January of 2020.
Very good.
Okay.
Wow, you explained that so well. You've just got it right on the nose. Also, the annual general enrollment period, that's what we've been talking
That's
about.
what we got two. This is kind of confusing because we got two general enrollment periods.
Yes.
Okay, the one we have just discussed is the one for the prescription plan and moving back and forth from the Advantage to the original. October 15th to
through-
December the 7th.
Okay.
Now there's another general enrollment period. Which takes place January the 1st through March the 31st.
Yes.
And that is for individuals that have failed to sign up for the medical part of Medicare Part B Medicare. The general enrollment period is from January through March the 31st, and that
Yes.
is the time that they can actually sign up to Part B Medicare. Unfortunately, the coverage will not take effect until July of the year 2020. Okay.
Okay,
So those are the two enrollment periods that individuals under Medicare should actually be focused on and actually make sure that they don't overlook, because that can be costly. Okay, premiums do go up if you don't sign up to Medicare Part B or even Part D on time. Okay, so-
And I almost think about it as a penalty, but you know, you just have to be on top of things. It's so important to have insurance,
yeah,
right?
there's penalties for those individuals that are already retired and have failed to sign up for Part B Medicare. Okay, but if you're still working and covered through your employer insurance plan, then you have the option to say no to Part B Medicare. When you retire, then you can contact the Social Security office and sign up for Part B Medicare. And as long as we can get a statement from your employer to verify that you were working and covered through your employer insurance plan, then you will not suffer any of those penalty surcharges. Okay, you'll be protected. The same thing with Part D Medicare. If you already have a prescription plan, whether you're an employee or you're a retiree, and your prescription plan has told you that your coverage is as good as or better than what Medicare offers, you can stay under that prescription plan and not sign up for one of the Medicare prescriptions. You won't be penalized, okay? If for some reason your employer drops the prescription plan or you decide to drop the medical plan altogether, then Medicare will offer you an enrollment window of 63 days to sign up for one of those prescription plans without any
Very
penalties.
good. Is there help for the cost of prescriptions?
Yeah, definitely. If you're hurting and you cannot pay for the cost of the prescription plans, Social Security does handle or manage a program that we call Extra Help.
Oh,
if you're
good.
limited in income, limited in resources, and we have heard say that people actually save over $4,000 a year in prescription costs if they qualify for this particular coverage. So if you're an individual and your limited income is under $18,735, or you fall as a couple and your limited income is under $25,365, and your limited resources are less than $14,390 as an individual and less than $28,720 as a couple, you will qualify for assistance with the Social Security Administration. We see individuals that are eligible for 100% coverage or as little as 25% assistance.
Very good.
Whatever percentage you're eligible for, that's going to help you in paying for your prescription costs.
And don't go without your medicines, because that's so important. Keeps you alive
First
and
and
healthy.
foremost, your health. Okay,
Your health.
so you need to keep up with your prescriptions.
That is so good. Let's just give your website, your phone number where they can reach Social Security, some information that our viewers
Well, if they
can have.
if they want more information, detailed information about Social Security, retirement, disability, Medicare, the prescription help, they can go to Social Security, www.socialsecurity.gov. They'll find tons of information on that website. If they want to call the national toll-free number, it's 1-800-772-1213. They can talk to a live representative from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night. If they want to talk to me personally, my telephone number is 866-593-0939 with the extension 27404.
And that's the one that I call. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ravi Hill. Wonderful information. You just, I don't know what we would do without you here on Mature Living, and of course for our wonderful audience, our viewers.
Well, thank you, Mary.
We
Thank
hope
you.
we've helped you, and we'll be back with more Mature Living and more guests. Thank you. Thank you for staying with us. Of course, this is Mature Living. And guess what? I have a professional television person that our seniors love when they go to the Love Conference. And Telemundo's always has had a presence with us here, senior adult program, and with Telemundo. And they are our community television station. I love Telemundo. I love you all. because you just serve this community so well. Thank you, Carla, for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary, for
And you are
inviting me.
you're wearing a lot of hats. You're the anchor woman and the news, and what else do you?
Well, let's say that I'm like the political lead, the political expert. And basically, I'm working on different stories about the long list of candidates who wants to become the next president of the United States.
Yes, so you're
and it's a
covering
long list. Of course, we're presenting different stories about profiles on immigration, topics on economy, health, and not only Democrats, of course, but also Republicans. And yes, it's important for our viewers to know exactly who these people are, how do they think, and what they want to do for our community, especially, of course, the Hispanic community, the Latino community.
Absolutely. And Telemundo has such a large viewership. I know that many of our seniors watch Telemundo. There are certain important topics that I think we want to cover today, and one of them is citizenship. Did we not have some sort of a citizenship day recently?
Yes, September 17th, the National Citizenship Day. And why so important, Mary? Because in order for you to go to vote, you have to become a U.S. citizen. Yes. So it's important for us to put all the information to our viewers and for them to understand the whole process, the price, for instance, they have tons of questions about the exam. And for our viewers, especially our senior citizens, they become so insecure and afraid of the process, especially the exam. But they need to know that there's an option. In some cases, they can do the test in Spanish. Exactly,
Wow.
exactly.
And then there's a lot of places where they're teaching citizenship classes. And they help you through those 100 questions. And and you know what? They pass those exams. So we can give them information on all those places where there's free citizenship classes.
We went 2 weeks ago. We went to La Iglesia El Sagrado Corazón de Jesús on the Segundo Barrio, and I was able to talk to some of the residents and people who are going there to learn about the process and to understand the different questions, answers of the test in Spanish. And it was a beautiful experience because sometimes they told me, you know what, Carla, at the beginning I was so afraid. I was so insecure. I was like I'm not going to be able to answer all those questions. But at the end, there was tons of beautiful stories of them becoming
and those new citizens, how they celebrate with their families when they do get their citizenship. It's amazing, and we need to push that. Definitely, we're going to help you with that. Hopefully through the community college, hopefully through LULAC and all these other organizations. NALEO, yes. This is the National Association of Elected Officials, I believe, is what it stands for. How important is voting, and then how important is the U.S. Census? So which one do we tackle first?
Okay, well, the citizenship process, it's obviously important because after that, people were going to have the opportunity to go out and vote. But also it's important next year, 2020, it's a very important year because of the census. We have this initiative, Hazte Contar, or Make Yourself Count. And it's basically telling our viewers over and over and over the importance of making yourself count. It's why so important? Because the future of our community, the future of our streets, our schools, our community depends on who we are. How many residents are here
living here in this community?
Exactly.
And it's tied to funding.
It is.
We get more funding if there's more people.
Exactly.
And so we need to report. And I understand that there's an under-reporting of children.
Correct.
Of the little ones.
Correct. It happens all the time. We were asking questions and why it happened. Well, because probably they went to a place, a home, a house and
They move.
they move, or the grandma was taking care of the kid, and then mom was not aware that the kid was not counted in that house. Well, it happened all the time. And yes, you're right. We need to have the right number, because that's going to be, I mean, the future of our community.
So every person should take that U.S. Census, report every person in that household, and if you didn't report it here because they're over at grandma's, make sure that they get counted over there. And so we need to educate our community. Voting
Hazte
is
contar. Hazte contar.
I
Make
love
yourself
that.
count.
Yeah, make yourself count.
Correct.
And also in voting, it's so important. 2020, a presidential election. Who's representing our community? What are our values? What do we want for this nation? It's so important. What are you doing with that?
Okay, we're like I said before, we're reminding our audience who's who, and what is it that they're promising to do for us, for our community. And not only that, but Mary, right now, and because the tragic events that happened on August the 3rd, I mean, everything changed.
Yes, it
Everything
has.
changed. And now more than ever,
Yes.
we need to have a voice.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. And we will have a voice. Many people register to vote, but they don't go vote. Okay, this is a very good reason to go vote in 2020 or whatever primaries that we need to vote for. We register, but then they don't exercise their right. And it's not a privilege, it's a right. It's something that is our responsibility.
It is.
As citizens.
And not only to go on and vote for the next president. Of course, it's very important. But next year, we're going to have to decide who will be our next district attorney, our next state rep. Senator. We have different races, and we need to pay attention to all of those because every single one of them are important.
Many times people come from other countries and, oh, it doesn't matter, my vote doesn't count, or, you know, so how do you want to change that mindset? Wherever you come from, erase that because now you're in the
Erase
U.S.
that, yes.
and now your vote counts.
Exactly. You are here. You need to have a voice. You need to participate. You need to go out and say, I want this, I don't like this, we need to have a change on that. I mean, you are here. Your kids are going to our schools. You are working here. You are paying taxes.
Yes.
You're part
You're
of this
contributing.
community. You're contributing, of course.
Absolutely. Carla, it's so good to see Telemundo being involved. I will be involved in however I can through my senior adult program, through the college, because we all want the best for this community, as Telemundo does as well. And the U.S. Census, make ourselves count. Make sure you fill out. Don't be afraid to register every person in your household to make sure they get counted. And talk to your kids, talk to your neighbors, your elderly. Make sure that there'll be people coming around the households, but there's something going to be sent in the mail. I believe that we can do it. I think you can also do it
electronically online.
Yes, and
correct.
online.
This will be the first census in U.S. history.
Yes, that we can do
that
online.
You can do it online. Yes. So remember, 3 different initiatives. Hazte contar para participar en el censo. Go out and vote, Decisión 2020. Y, por supuesto, hacia la ciudadanía.
Yes. How well is said in Spanish and English. She's marvelous. Carla, thank you for being here. Come back again and share with us what you're doing with Telemundo. And thank Lorena Castaneda and Yadira Ascuna, wonderful people over there at Telemundo.
Thank you so much.
And, you know, we'll see you at the voting booth and see you next week.